it's time to take a look at the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are a very old franchise. They were established in 1898, so they've been around for 119 years, and their first official season was in 1920. They play in the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, and they're headquartered in Tempe, Arizona. Now, they've been a part of the National Football League since 1920, and they were in the Western Division from 1933 to 1949, in the American Conference from 1950 to 1952, in the Eastern Conference from 1953 to 1969, and in the Century Division from 1967 to 1969. They merged and they became, well, they didn't merge, but they went to the NFC. They've been in the NFC since 1970. They were part of the NFC East in 1970 to 2001, and then merged to the NFC West in 2002, and have stayed there since. Their colors are cardinal red, black, and white. Their mascot is Big Red. The owner and the chairman is Bill Bidwill. The president is Michael Bidwill. The general manager is Steve Keem, and the head coach Bruce Arians. Now, the team history since 1920, they were the Chicago Cardinals from 1920 to 1943, went to Card Pitt in 1944, and then went back as the Chicago Cardinals from 1945 to 1959. From 1960 to 1987, they were the St. Louis Cardinals. They went to the Phoenix Cardinals in 1988 to 1993, and then officially became the Arizona Cardinals in 1994. The team nicknames are the Cards, Big Red, or the Red Sea. They have won 2 NFL championships, like pre-Super Bowl era, 1925 and 1947. They haven't won anything since. They have never won a Super Bowl. They won a NFC title in 2008 with Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald and them. It was a fantastic run until Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted to end that, and they ended up not winning it, and their only Super Bowl appearance is a loss. So they're still in search of another one Super Bowl ring and another trip to the Super Bowl. And now they've won 7 division titles in the NFL West in 1947 and 1948, in the NFC East in 1974 and 1975, and the NFC West 2008, 2009, and 2015. They've been in the playoffs 10 times: 1947, 1948, 1974, 1975, 1982, 1998, 2008, 2009, 2014, and 2015. Since 1920, they played in Normal Park from 1920 to 1921, went to Comiskey Park from 1922 to 1925, went back to Normal Park from 1926 to 1928, then went back to Comiskey Park 1929 to 1930, went to Wrigley Field from 1931 to 1938, went back to Comiskey Park 1939 to 1958, then went to Soldier Field for 4 games in 1959, went to Metropolitan Stadium for 2 games in 1959, and then went to Sportsman Park from 1960 to 1965, shifted to Bush Memorial Stadium from 1966 to 1987, moved to Sun Devil Stadium from 1988 to 2005, and officially went to the University of Phoenix Stadium in 2006. So this is a franchise that has a lot of history, but at the same time doesn't have anything that you can say uplifts them. Of course, winning an NFL championship before the Super Bowl era in 1940s is fantastic, but that's the 1940s, and we're not in the 1940s. We all know that they won a Super Bowl, and one of the many teams that don't have a Super Bowl yet, because teams like New England, teams like Pittsburgh, the teams that are regular, they take it away. So it's kind of sad, but eventually we got to have some new winners, hopefully. All right, let's take a look at this Arizona Cardinal offense. We start with Kurt Warner, one of, in my opinion, the best story I've ever heard in sports. One of the best stories out there. A guy that went from bagging groceries to having the chance to play in the NFL and is now in the Hall of Fame. A 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, 2-time MVP, and just overall fantastic everywhere he went. When he was over there in New York for 1 year, he didn't do too terrible. He just didn't get much starting time. He went to Arizona, everything changed. He just became a monster. Like, he just became just a fantastic QB. Guy that's had over 30,000 passing yards. But as an Arizona Cardinals had over 15,000 of them and 100 touchdowns, he's also led them to 27 career regular season victories. He was also the guy that led them to Arizona to their first ever Super Bowl. So, honestly, in my honest opinion, you got to give Kurt Warner some respect, and just respect is due for sure for him. So, yeah, he's gonna be the leader though. All right, now Otis Anderson. Yeah, he's gonna be the running back of the Arizona Cardinals. A guy that's mostly known for the guy that actually was doing pretty amazingly with that New York Giants team during that Super Bowl against the Bills. He ran it pretty well, not gonna lie. But no, this is a guy, individual that played some great football, played some unbelievable football for the Cardinals when they were the St. Louis Cardinals. Overall, in the 70s all the way to the mid 80s. In my opinion, I think he did pretty good, having almost 1 yard shy of 8,000, having 46 rushing touchdowns, having pretty much an average game of 80.8 yards, and as well as having almost 300 receptions. This is just a guy that's, in all honesty, I think he's going to be pretty good utility guy. Definitely underrated. Definitely not many people know about him. But he is a two-time Super Bowl champion. He's a two-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro, so he knows what he's doing. And honestly, we just got to trust him on carrying that ball on Arizona's side. Now, Larry Fitzgerald is going to be that first wideout. And he's going to be definitely the very focal point of the wideouts, but definitely not the one that everyone's going to key on, just because there's going to be another guy on that other side that you should also keep an eye on, those defensive backs over there. But Larry Fitzgerald is a future Hall of Famer. He's still going at it strong. 10-time Pro Bowler, an All-Pro. He's been in Arizona Cardinals' entire life, and he's had over 1,000 receptions. He's had over 15,000 receiving yards. He's had over 100 receiving touchdowns. He's just a guy that you really want to go to, and we all know Kurt Warner loves Larry. So him and Larry together, it's going to be a fantastic seeing of a connection again. Now the next receiver, that's going to be Anquan Boldin. Anquan Boldin, three-time being in the Pro Bowl. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's been at it before. Longtime Arizona Cardinal, was a big reason of Baltimore why they went to the Super Bowl. Was a big reason was Jacoby Jones, Ray Lewis's motivation because of his retirement, and Anquan Boldin being just a freak of nature, being that guy, But Anquan Boldin, though, a guy that's caught a lot. He's done a lot. He's caught over 1,000 receptions. He's had over 13,000 receiving yards. He's had 82 receiving touchdowns. This is a guy that should be up for nomination for the Hall of Fame, in my honest opinion. Arizona was no different. Him and Larry Fitzgerald, they're definitely going to do some great things together. And everyone's got to watch out because those two guys, they can light it up. Now, the third wide receiver, that's going to be in the slot, most likely Roy Green, a two-time Pro Bowler, a two-time All-Pro, a guy that played for Philly for 2 years, but played out there in St. Louis and Phoenix with the Arizona Cardinals over there, or Phoenix Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals at the time. A guy that caught over 500 balls, over 8,000 receiving yards, over 60-plus receiving touchdowns. Just overall, in my honest opinion, I think he's going to do a great job. I can see Roy Green definitely being that face, being that X factor, if you say so. All right, so we're gonna also have tight end Jackie Smith. He's a Hall of Famer, 5-time Pro Bowler. Played for the St. Louis Cardinals back when they were that, back in the 60s and 70s. A guy that's caught over 400 receptions. So overall, pretty, he's an old standard kind of tight end. He's gonna block for you for sure. Just an extra lineman there, but he can also catch. So I think it's gonna be pretty good. Appreciate it. Left tackle, Lewis Sharp. Lewis Sharp is a 3-time Pro Bowler. A guy that started pretty much a lot of games, 189 of them to be exact. Played in 189, so he's a veteran He's a leader. He's been around for a while, so um, you know, I'm not the best left tackle like ever, but certainly will be effective. Left guard Ken Gray. He will be right there next to Sharp. He's a six-time Pro Bowler. He's a two-time All-Pro. He played right guard 50s and all the way to 1970 there. So overall, definitely played in many games. Again, effective, not the best guard ever, not the best guard like even in that era, but effective. The center is going to be Bob DeMarco, a three-time Pro Bowler, a two-time All-Pro, and a guy, like I said, another guy that's been around a lot, 185 games to be exact playing. So overall, that's what I noticed. Another guy that's gonna be effective, another guy that's valuable. So we'll see how it goes. Now, right guard is gonna be Irv Good, a two-time Pro Bowler, also Super Bowl champion with the Miami Dolphins. Pretty much, he played with St. Louis from 1962 all the way to 1971. So 10 out of his 12 years he ended there in Miami. And a guy that is another valuable asset. Again, a guy that has been around, and this entire line is just very convenient for the most part. They're not, they're just very underrated. They're overlooked, and most certainly they're not guys that you're gonna honestly go after to create an all-time team if you were to have an all-time draft. Now, the right tackle, very special. Definitely one of the best tackles ever. And it's Darren Deirdroff, a Hall of Famer, a six-time Pro Bowler, three-time All-Pro. Very valuable asset to this Cardinals team because he spent his entire career there. 160 games that he played, 150 that he started. He is going to be that leader that they need out there in that line. Just because it's just a whole bunch of misfits, and then that one Hall of Famer there. So we'll see how they hold their end of the bargain. I know that Darren Deirdroff will do amazing since he is one of the best.